Hello there, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. Tonight, we travel to a place where the sky remembers how to dream. A place where night is not darkness, but a quiet canvas of drifting light. High above the Arctic Circle, in the cold air where the world grows silent, the northern lights begin their soft and ancient dance. They don't arrive with thunder or sound. They unfold gently, like breath turning to color. At first, it's only a faint glow along the horizon, a soft green haze, almost shy. Then, slowly, the sky begins to ripple. Curtains of light rise and fall in complete silence, as if the universe is exhaling a memory. The aurora stretches across frozen lakes, snowy forests, and lonely mountains, lighting the winter night with colors that move like thought. Every wave of light you see began as particles traveling across millions of kilometers, drifting from the sun to our quiet Earth. When they meet the cold air of the Arctic sky, they glow, not fiercely, but tenderly. Green melts into purple, purple into blue, blue into pale white. Sometimes the lights flicker in quick pulses, and other times they stretch into long, slow ribbons that hang across the sky like celestial silk. People have watched these lights for thousands of years. Some believed they were spirits dancing, others thought they were messages from the heavens. But no matter how science explains them, the experience is always the same. A feeling of stillness, a feeling of wonder, a feeling that the night has opened its eyes. So settle into your quiet space. Let the world soften around you. Tonight, we drift beneath the gentle glow of the northern lights. High above the Earth, nearly 100 kilometers above the ground, the northern lights begin their quiet transformation. In this thin, icy layer of the atmosphere, oxygen waits patiently for the touch of energy carried from the sun. When those wandering particles arrive, they meet the atoms of our sky with a gentle spark. But instead of burning or bursting, the oxygen responds with a soft green glow, rising like fog that has learned how to shine. This is why the northern lights most often wear a shade of emerald. It is the color of calm oxygen breathing in the dark. Sometimes the lights take on a deeper red, a rare and haunting color that appears only when oxygen far above the Earth is touched at just the right moment. These red auroras drift slowly, almost reluctantly, as if they know how unusual they are. They float across the sky like faint fire, spreading thinly across the horizon. Because the air is so thin at that altitude, the red glow lingers longer, refusing to fade quickly. It is one of nature's slowest forms of light, patient, delicate, and visible only to skies untouched by city brightness. When the lights shimmer in waves, it is because the Earth's magnetic field is guiding solar particles along invisible paths. These magnetic lines curve, twist, and ripple, pulling the aurora into motion. The result is a sky that seems to breathe, folding, stretching, and drifting with effortless grace. People often describe this motion as curtains, but it is closer to silk, suspended in water, flowing and dissolving into itself. Even though the forces behind it are powerful, the display remains gentle, as if translated into calm before reaching human eyes. The sound of the northern lights is almost always silence. The air at auroral altitudes is far too thin to carry any note or echo. Yet, many people who stand beneath the lights say they feel something, a hum, a presence, like distant electricity whispering across the sky. While science debates whether faint crackles can sometimes occur near the ground, the most constant experience is quiet. It is the kind of silence that makes the night feel deeper, as if the world is listening alongside you. On the coldest nights, the aurora stretches so far across the sky that it touches the edges of the horizon in every direction. In those moments, the world feels sheltered beneath a dome of shifting color. The lights rise and fall like breath, pulsing softly in patterns that never repeat. No two auroras have ever been identical. Every display is a moment that exists once, then dissolves into memory, a reminder that even the sky creates art that lasts only for as long as we are awake to see it. When you look at the green glow above, you are watching particles that left the sun days earlier. They traveled through space at incredible speeds, guided by winds we cannot feel, but that shape our entire planet. Some of these particles never reach Earth at all. They pass by quietly, but the ones that do arrive are welcomed by the magnetic field, which funnels them toward the polar regions like a gentle hand guiding water into a stream. This journey, from sun to sky, is a cosmic migration ending in beauty. The brightest auroras often appear after solar storms, when the sun releases immense waves of charged particles. Yet even then, the lights do not rage. They bloom. They fill the night with slow-moving radiance, turning frozen lakes into mirrors and snow-covered trees into silhouettes of silver. The cold air amplifies the stillness, allowing the sky to feel close enough to touch. These powerful auroras are the universe at its most generous, energy transformed into calmness. Sometimes the northern lights form spirals or swirling crowns that hover directly overhead. This shape appears when Earth's magnetic lines bend sharply, pulling the aurora into a circular pattern. Standing beneath one of these displays feels like standing inside a glowing tunnel of color, with the sky opening above like the petals of a flower. The center of the spiral is the quietest part, a gateway of pale light that seems to stare gently back at you. The colors of the aurora are shaped not only by oxygen, but also by nitrogen, which adds subtle blues and purples to the edges of the light. These colors appear briefly, flickering like whispered thoughts before melting back into green. In the deepest hours of the night, when the sky is coldest and the energy is strongest, the purple hues can stretch farther, creating a layered glow that feels almost otherworldly. But even then, the light remains soft, never harsh, never overwhelming, always gentle. There are nights when the aurora moves so slowly that it appears still, like a curtain frozen in place. On these nights, the lights resemble a sleeping sky, awake enough to glow, but too tired to drift. The air beneath them becomes calm, as if the world has paused in appreciation. Moments like this remind us that not all beauty is movement. Sometimes, the most peaceful light is the kind that chooses to simply remain. Far above the Arctic Circle, the aurora sometimes appears in a shape known as the arc. This is the simplest and calmest form of the northern lights, a long, quiet ribbon stretching from one end of the horizon to the other. It doesn't flicker or pulse quickly. Instead, it glows with a soft, steady light, like a whisper laid across the night. The arc can remain unchanged for hours, serving as a peaceful doorway to the more dynamic motions that may follow. It is the aurora's first breath, a gentle introduction from the sky, reminding us that even the quietest forms of light can carry profound beauty. There are nights when the northern lights take on the appearance of a slow-moving river drifting across the sky as though poured from an invisible hand. This flowing motion is caused by changes in Earth's magnetic field, subtle and rhythmic. As the charged particles follow those shifting magnetic paths, they create luminous streams that roll from one horizon to the other. The motion is so smooth that it feels like time is stretched, like the universe has slowed its heartbeat so the sky can move without haste. Standing beneath such a display, everything feels synchronized: the air, the silence, and the drifting glow. Sometimes the aurora fades so slowly you can barely tell it is disappearing. The green softens into pale white, the edges dissolve, and the sky gradually returns to darkness. This gentle fading happens when the energy from the sun decreases, allowing the atmosphere to settle back into stillness. The transition is so delicate that it feels like watching a dream dissolve upon waking, not abruptly, but with the soft retreat of something that was never meant to be held. It is a reminder that beauty, even when temporary, carries peace simply by existing. When the aurora brightens suddenly, illuminating snow and ice with a vivid glow, it is due to bursts of energy delivered at just the right moment. These brightenings are called substorms, but the name is misleading. They are not storms in the way we think of them. They do not roar or rage. Instead, the sky simply becomes more alive, more awake, as if someone gently turned up the brightness without disturbing the quiet. The landscape glows in soft greens and purples, creating a world that feels suspended between night and light. In the calm of winter, the aurora sometimes forms wide, glowing bands that stretch across the entire sky like massive, luminous pathways. These broad bands appear when large portions of the atmosphere become energized at once. They move slowly, often barely noticeable, unless you look away and back again. Their vastness creates a feeling of openness, as though the sky has expanded just a little more than usual. These bands are the aurora at its most serene, grand but gentle, immense but comforting. When oxygen molecules in the atmosphere meet just the right amount of energy, they produce a green light that human eyes perceive as unusually soothing. This shade of green, common in the aurora, activates parts of the brain associated with calmness and balance. That is why watching the northern lights feels inherently peaceful. The color communicates with the body in quiet, subtle ways, slowing thoughts, steadying breath, and easing the mind toward rest. It is not simply light. It is a natural signal of tranquility. Occasionally, thin rays of aurora stretch upward like tall, glowing pillars. These rays form when particles follow sharply vertical magnetic field lines, directing the light straight toward space. From the ground, these pillars appear almost architectural, like celestial columns supporting the sky. Their motion is minimal, just a subtle shimmer as they brighten and fade. There is something ancient in their stillness, as if the sky is momentarily holding itself upright in perfect symmetry, inviting the viewer to pause and breathe. The calmest auroras appear during periods of low solar activity, when the sun sends only a gentle stream of particles toward Earth. During these times, the lights are softer, slower, and often more consistent. They glow like quiet lanterns hung above the world, illuminating the night without demanding attention. These softer auroras are favorites among those who seek peace rather than spectacle. They do not chase across the sky, they simply exist, steady and serene. Very faint auroras, nearly invisible to the naked eye, still shine brightly in the view of cameras. Modern sensors can detect colors far beyond human perception, capturing reds, blues, and purples that our eyes cannot see in low light. When the sky glows faintly like this, it feels as if an entirely different world of color is unfolding just beyond human awareness. The aurora, even when weak, paints the night with layers of light that exist quietly, waiting for the right eyes or lenses to reveal them. Some auroras form in complete silence and remain motionless for long moments, hanging in the sky like frozen waves. These still auroras occur when the balance of magnetic forces becomes momentarily perfect, creating a resting state where the lights hold their shape without drift. Standing beneath such stillness, the world feels weightless, as if the sky itself is holding its breath. These rare moments of unmoving light are among the most peaceful experiences on Earth, inviting the mind to match the sky's quietness. There are nights when the aurora stretches into long, delicate threads that weave across the entire sky. These thin strands form when the incoming solar particles are few, arriving gently rather than in great waves. Because the energy is so soft, the lights appear narrow and refined, like hairline strokes painted across a vast canvas. They drift quietly, never breaking, just flowing from one horizon to the other. Watching these threads is like watching the sky sigh. Long, slow, effortless. They remind us that beauty doesn't need intensity. Sometimes it only needs presence, When the aurora appears directly overhead, it can unfold into a shape known as a corona. It looks like the sky opening above you, with rays of light converging into a single glowing point. But unlike a burst of fire or a flash of lightning, this corona moves gently, almost shyly. The rays ripple outward, spreading into soft fans of green and violet. The effect is breathtaking, yet deeply calming. It feels as if the universe is quietly revealing a doorway made of color, one that exists only for a moment and only for those patient enough to look up. On the calmest nights, the aurora hovers low along the horizon, glowing faintly like the first hint of dawn. This type of glow is called a diffuse aurora, and it rarely flickers or dances. Instead, it rests near the edge of the sky, casting a soft illumination over snow banks, hills, and quiet forests. The diffuse aurora is so gentle that travelers sometimes mistake it for moonlight hidden behind clouds. But look longer, and its subtle green begins to pulse, revealing its true nature. It is the sky's quietest lullaby. There are times when solar winds carry not only charged particles, but also a soft rhythm, waves of energy that rise and fall in regular intervals. When these waves reach Earth, they create auroras that pulse gently, brightening and dimming like a heartbeat. These pulsations can last for minutes, each pulse spreading across the sky in a slow ripple. Standing beneath them, you might feel as if the planet is breathing with you, rising and falling in harmony. These pulsating auroras are among the most meditative sights on Earth, guiding the mind into the same quiet rhythm. The northern lights sometimes blend seamlessly into the Milky Way, creating an illusion that the stars themselves are glowing with color. In places untouched by artificial light, the aurora and the galaxy share the same sky without competing. The greens flow beneath the pale river of stars, while the purples and blues mingle with distant starlight. The two celestial phenomena become one gentle tapestry, light from our world intertwined with light from worlds billions of years away. It is a reminder that everything in the universe, no matter how distant, can exist together in harmony. On very cold nights, when temperatures drop far below freezing, the aurora often appears brighter and sharper. The cold air steadies the atmosphere, reducing turbulence and letting the lights form clearer shapes. The greens deepen, the edges sharpen, and the glow becomes more defined against the dark. Photographers often say the aurora is made for winter. The cold seems to polish the air, transforming the sky into a perfect stage for color and quiet. It is as if the universe rewards patience with clarity. Sometimes the aurora creates faint shadows on the snow. The light is not strong enough to cast sharp lines, but it creates a soft, blurred outline, just enough for your mind to notice. This gentle shadowing happens when the aurora is unusually bright, and the landscape beneath is covered in reflective snow. The result is a world illuminated from above by something other than the sun or moon. The shadows are dreamy, almost liquid, like memories drifting across white ground. On rare nights, multiple layers of aurora stack themselves across the sky. One layer glows near the horizon, another curves above it, and a third forms high overhead. They appear like different curtains hung at different lengths, each moving at its own pace. This layered aurora happens when solar particles of different energies arrive together, but interact at different altitudes. To the viewer, it feels like watching a three-dimensional ballet of light, each layer moving independently yet harmonizing with the others. There are legends among Arctic cultures that the aurora carries messages. While these stories differ from place to place, they all share the same sense of reverence, that the lights are alive in some gentle way, responding to the world below. Modern science explains the aurora with particles and magnetism, but those ancient interpretations hold a kind of emotional truth. When you stand beneath the silent glow, it's easy to understand why people once felt watched, guided, or comforted by the lights. The aurora feels intentional even though it is not. It feels aware even though it is not. Beauty often creates that illusion, and it's a comforting one. Sometimes, during particularly strong auroral nights, the lights ripple so smoothly that they resemble the surface of a calm lake stirred by a breeze. This fluid appearance comes from subtle shifts in magnetic fields that move energy across the sky like waves traveling through water. The light follows those waves, creating the illusion of a sky made of liquid color. Watching this, the mind can drift into the same softness, letting thoughts spread gently, without urgency, without direction. The sky becomes a mirror for the inner world, and both settle into quiet motion. There are auroras that drift like mist, so faint and delicate that they seem to hover between visibility and imagination. These ghost-like lights appear when just a small handful of solar particles reach the atmosphere. Instead of forming strong colors or dramatic shapes, they whisper across the sky in pale hues, almost transparent. If you look directly at them, they sometimes disappear, but look slightly to the side and their presence returns, shimmering gently. This softness isn't a flaw, it's a form of beauty meant for quiet minds. These faint auroras resemble thoughts at the edge of sleep, drifting in and out of awareness without needing to be understood. When conditions are just right, the aurora can appear to twist, forming gentle spirals that curl across the night. This twisting happens when winds in the upper atmosphere blow in different directions at different heights, creating subtle rotations that guide the light like a ribbon flowing in water. The spirals unwind slowly, stretching themselves tall before dissolving. Watching these shapes feels like watching the sky stretch after a long day, unhurried, graceful, and deeply calming. The spirals are reminders that even cosmic forces can move gently. There are nights when the aurora forms a perfect arch overhead, glowing like a bridge made of color. This arch doesn't pulse or flicker. It rests in place, steady and balanced. Beneath it, the land grows quieter, as if everything beneath the arch is sheltered by the sky's embrace. People who witness this phenomenon often say they feel held, like they are standing beneath a celestial canopy designed to soothe the human spirit. The arch connects horizon to horizon, creating a sense of wholeness rarely felt in nature. Under such light, the world feels complete. Occasionally, the aurora appears in soft patches scattered across the sky, glowing like distant lanterns placed on invisible shelves. These patches form when particles interact unevenly with the atmosphere, creating islands of light separated by darkness. The result is a sky that seems dotted with quiet, glowing worlds, each one drifting in its own pocket of space. This fragmented glow isn't chaotic, it's serene. It feels like looking at constellations made of color instead of stars, reminders that even scattered light can be harmonious. One of the rarest displays occurs when red and green auroras blend together, forming delicate transitions of orange and yellow. This merging happens when energy reaches multiple atmospheric layers at once, illuminating high-altitude oxygen in red and lower-altitude oxygen in green. The colors gently overlap, creating auroral tones seen only on the calmest, clearest nights. The blend is so subtle that it seems painted by a patient hand. These layered colors feel like the sky is exhaling warmth, even in the cold of the Arctic night. On very still nights, the aurora can appear directly above snow-covered forests, casting a gentle glow over the treetops. The light filters through the branches like soft fog drifting through a winter dream. The snow reflects the green tones upward, deepening the glow, while the shadows remain delicate and blue. In this rare combination of sky and earth, the entire landscape seems transformed, quiet, luminous, and suspended in time. Walking through such forests feels like moving inside a dreamscape shaped by light rather than sun. Sometimes the northern lights form shapes that resemble waves rolling over an invisible shore. These wave-like auroras travel from one horizon to the other in slow, rhythmic motions, rising and falling like breath. These movements are caused by invisible pressure waves in the atmosphere, soft, repeating pulses that nudge the aurora gently forward. To watch this is to witness a sky that moves like an ocean, calm and deep and full of quiet rhythm. It creates an almost hypnotic peace, guiding the mind into soft tides of thought. There are auroras that appear close to the ground, seeming lower than they truly are. This illusion happens when the sky is exceptionally clear and dark, allowing the lights to feel nearer than usual. The green glow touches the tops of hills and cliffs, making it seem as if the aurora has descended to meet the earth. In truth, the light is still far above, but the clarity of the atmosphere makes distance melt away. These nights feel intimate, as if the sky is leaning in to whisper to the world below. Some auroras appear suddenly, bright and bold, only to fade gently within minutes. This brief brilliance happens when a short wave of energy reaches the atmosphere, a single breath of the sun transformed into light. The suddenness of the glow can surprise those watching, but its departure is always gentle. The sky never snaps back into darkness, it drifts there. The fading is like a candle flame slowly lowering itself, not extinguished, but content to dim. These fleeting lights remind us that beauty does not need to last to be meaningful. In rare moments, when the sky is exceptionally calm and the aurora particularly strong, the lights can create a faint reflection on bodies of water, lakes, rivers, even the calm surface of the Arctic Ocean. The reflection is not sharp like a mirror. It is blurred, softened by the water's natural motion. But it is enough to double the glow, creating a world where the colors float both above and below. Standing near such a reflection feels like standing inside the aurora itself, embraced by color, surrounded by serenity. There are auroras that glow in a smooth, even ribbon, stretching across the sky like a piece of soft fabric pulled taut by the hands of the universe. This ribbon doesn't flicker or change much. Instead, it holds a consistent brightness, as though it has found its balance and chooses to rest there for a while. This steady glow is created when a gentle, continuous stream of particles arrives from the sun, feeding the aurora with quiet, uninterrupted energy. Beneath such a ribbon, the world feels calm and certain, as if the sky has found the perfect moment and decided to stay there, serene and unwavering. Sometimes the aurora creates ripples that appear to flutter, like delicate waves passing through silk. These fluttering motions occur when the upper atmosphere vibrates with tiny, invisible waves, undulations caused by the temperature differences between layers of air. As the particles follow these shifting currents, the light bends and trembles in soft rhythms. Watching this gentle flutter makes the sky feel alive, not in a loud or restless way, but with the subtle breath of something ancient and patient. It is the kind of motion that settles the mind, inviting thoughts to drift lightly. There are auroras so bright that they illuminate entire snowy landscapes, turning night into a soft, glowing twilight. The snow reflects the green light upward, amplifying the brightness, while the distant mountains silhouette themselves in calm shadow. In these moments, the world feels touched by a quiet enchantment, still winter air, pale light, and the slow dance of the sky working together to create a scene that feels both vast and intimate. The brightness doesn't feel harsh. It feels like warmth translated into color, even though the air remains cold. Sometimes the northern lights gather into a shape that looks like a soft, glowing spiral unfurling across the dark. These spirals form when magnetic lines create swirling paths for the particles, guiding the aurora into gentle curves. The spiral turns slowly, expanding outward like a flower blooming in the night. The movement is so deliberate that it feels like watching time unfurl, each second stretching patiently into the next. Beneath such a spiral It's easy to feel the world slow down with you, matching your breath to the sky's quiet turning. When the aurora forms vertical streaks, they resemble long beams of color reaching upward like pillars supporting an invisible ceiling. These beams form when particles descend in narrow channels, illuminating the sky in parallel lines. The result is a cathedral-like stillness, as though nature has carved luminous columns out of darkness. These pillars don't move quickly. They brighten and fade with the calm rhythm of a slow tide. Standing under them feels like standing in a sacred place, not religious, but profoundly peaceful, shaped by the universe itself. There are nights when the aurora-esque green glow deepens into shades so rich that the sky appears painted with layered tones of jade and emerald. This depth of color occurs when the oxygen atoms are energized more intensely than usual, releasing light in a more concentrated way. The saturation doesn't make the aurora overwhelming. Instead, it makes it soothing, like looking into calm, deep water. The richness of the color gives the night a different kind of quiet, a feeling of softness wrapped in depth, a peacefulness that feels almost weighted, grounding the viewer gently. Sometimes the aurora forms shapes that resemble flowing banners, wide at the top and trailing downward in long, gentle folds. These banner-like displays drift slowly in the wind, as if the sky has hung luminous flags over the world. The folds move like fabric stirred by a calm breeze, bending and swaying without urgency. This motion is comforting because it mirrors natural, earthly movements, curtains, cloth, waves. The sky becomes familiar, approachable, as if it is imitating something from our own world while still remaining otherworldly. Occasionally, the aurora brightens only at its edges, creating a subtle outline of glowing light around a darker center. This edge lighting effect happens when different parts of the atmosphere receive different levels of energy. The result is a soft halo surrounding a dim interior, like the sky wearing a luminous frame. These outlines drift slowly, creating the impression of a sky tracing its own shape in color. The subtlety of the glow invites long, peaceful observation, the kind that settles the mind into quiet focus. On rare nights, the aurora changes so gradually that its movement feels almost imperceptible. The colors shift with the delicacy of ink spreading through water, blending seamlessly from one shade to another. This slow transition is the sign of a very stable atmosphere, where nothing rushes or interrupts the natural flow. Watching such a gentle evolution in the sky is like listening to a slow, quiet melody. No sharp notes, no sudden changes, just a steady drift that carries the mind deeper into relaxation. There are moments when the aurora appears almost white, especially when the glow is faint or when moonlight mixes with its natural green. This whitish aurora is gentle and understated, casting a soft luminance across the landscape without dramatic color. It resembles the glow of frost seen in moonlight, pale and soothing. Though it lacks the vibrant hues of typical auroras, this whiteness carries its own serenity. It feels like the sky is whispering instead of speaking, offering light in its gentlest form. There are moments when the aurora forms a faint glowing haze that spreads evenly across the entire sky, like a layer of luminous fog. This soft blanket of light happens during long, gentle interactions between solar particles and the upper atmosphere. Instead of forming distinct shapes or waves, the energy disperses smoothly, creating a sky that glows in one calm, unified tone. This kind of aurora feels like the night has taken a deep breath and settled into complete ease. The landscape beneath it becomes dreamlike, washed in a quiet green light that feels safe and soothing, as if the world has softened its edges for a while. Sometimes the aurora appears in shades of purple, so soft they seem to hover between color and shadow. These purples arise when nitrogen molecules are gently excited, releasing cool tones that blend into the darker parts of the sky. The result is a twilight color that feels both deep and delicate, like the last light of day stretched across the night. The purple aurora doesn't draw attention loudly, it murmurs. It invites the eye to wander slowly, following the quiet gradient as it shifts and breathes. The sky becomes a canvas of tenderness painted with hues rare enough to feel almost secret. There are nights when the aurora stretches horizontally in wide glowing sheets. These sheets drift slowly, barely perceptible, unless you relax your gaze. They resemble veils of color laid over the sky, thin enough to see stars through, yet bright enough to bathe the horizon in gentle radiance. The movement of these sheets is often steady and calming, guided by soft atmospheric currents high above the earth. Watching them brings a sense of grounding, as though the sky has wrapped itself in layers of calmness. These broad, floating veils make the night feel warm, even in the coldest air. Sometimes the aurora forms small, shimmering folds, delicate wrinkles in the sky that ripple like fabric caught in the slowest breeze. These folds occur when solar particles reach pockets of slightly denser air, causing the glow to gather and disperse in soft, undulating patterns. The effect is subtle but mesmerizing, like watching silk being gently smoothed by invisible hands. The folds deepen and lighten, drifting without urgency. Under such light, time feels softened at the edges, and the night seems to hum with quiet harmony. On very still nights, the aurora can form a series of gentle pulses across the horizon. These pulses brighten and dim with the rhythm of a slow heartbeat, moving in cycles that can last minutes or hours. This pulsation occurs when waves of energy arrive from the sun in spaced intervals, each wave giving the aurora a little more breath. The sky glows, rests, glows again. People who witness these pulses often say it feels like the earth itself is breathing, a calm, shared rhythm that invites every observer to exhale a little more deeply. There are auroras that drift in soft, diagonal lines, slanting gently across the night like strokes of a brush dipped in green light. These diagonal lights appear when the magnetic lines guiding the particles tilt at a unique angle, shaping the aurora into sloping paths. The effect is both structured and fluid, like a quiet melody played on a cosmic instrument. The diagonal glow stretches across stars and sky, connecting distant points of the horizon in one elegant sweep. Its calm geometry brings a sense of order to the night, a reminder that even in the vastness of space, nature finds patterns of peace. Sometimes the aurora seems to shimmer with texture, appearing almost woven, as if the sky is made of threads of light. This woven appearance forms when overlapping streams of charged particles arrive at slightly different speeds, creating layered lines that weave together. These lines shimmer with a soft, rhythmic flicker, giving the impression that the night is draped in a luminous fabric. It is a rare and gentle sight, one that makes the sky feel handcrafted, intentional, and deeply soothing. The woven light invites the mind to settle into its pattern, letting every thought fade into the quiet tapestry above. There are moments when the aurora brightens just along its edges, creating a subtle outline that glows more intensely than the center. This edge lighting effect is caused by small variations in atmospheric density, allowing the outermost arcs of the aurora to hold more energy. The result is a sky with glowing contours, like light tracing the boundary between heaven and earth. These outlines shift slowly, drifting across the stars with the softness of breath. They make the night feel framed, defined not by darkness, but by gentle luminescence. On rare winter nights, the aurora appears low and wide, hugging the horizon in a way that makes it seem far larger than it actually is. This visual stretching happens because cold air bends light differently, allowing the aurora to look taller and more expansive. The low horizon glow blends into snowy landscapes, turning the world into a seamless gradient of green and white. It is a quiet merging of sky and earth, creating a moment where boundaries dissolve and the night becomes a unified space of calm and wonder. Sometimes the aurora flickers so softly that the human eye barely notices the movement. This quiet flickering occurs when only small bursts of particles reach the atmosphere, causing the glow to brighten and dim in delicate, almost imperceptible waves. Instead of dancing or swirling, the aurora whispers. Its presence feels like a distant echo of something ancient, a gentle reminder of the sun's constant connection to our world. These soft flickers soothe the mind, inviting the viewer to slow down enough to feel the subtle rhythms hidden in the night. There are nights when the aurora forms a gentle dome across the sky, curving above the world like a luminous shelter. This dome appears when countless particles arrive evenly, spreading the light upward in a smooth, rounded shape. The glow thickens toward the center, fading softly toward the horizon. Beneath it, everything feels enclosed in peace. Lakes, forests, mountains, all resting under a sky that seems to hold them tenderly. The dome creates a sense of belonging, as if the night has wrapped itself around the earth in a quiet embrace. Sometimes the aurora forms thin vertical ripples that resemble the pages of a glowing book, slightly tilted and fluttering in a wind you cannot feel. These ripples shift slowly, moving one after another in gentle succession. They form when magnetic waves travel along the Earth's field lines, creating a layered effect in the sky. Watching these ripples is like watching the universe turn through its own chapters. Each page, a moment of light, each moment drifting softly into the next. The sky reads itself aloud in silence. There are auroras that flicker with the faintest hints of blue, a color so subtle that it often appears only at the edges of stronger green bands. This blue arises when energetic particles strike nitrogen at lower altitudes, releasing cool, soft light. The blue glow rarely dominates, but its presence adds depth, a quiet note in the aurora's gentle symphony. It feels like the night whispering a secret tone, one that only appears when the world is still enough to notice. Sometimes the aurora forms long, sinuous curves that stretch across the sky like a winding river. These curves trace the shifting paths of magnetic lines as they bend and weave through space. The aurora follows every contour gracefully, illuminating the invisible architecture of the planet's magnetic shield. Watching these curved lights gives the sense that the sky has learned to flow, not chaotically, but with the smoothness of water slipping over stones. The night becomes fluid, shaped by quiet forces older than human thought. On rare nights, the aurora brightens in pulses that move upward toward space. These upward waves are faint and soft, like gentle lifts of breath rising from the earth. They occur when bursts of energy push particles higher, creating delicate waves that drift skyward. The effect is calming, as though the sky is exhaling slowly, releasing its light back into the universe. Observers often feel that the night is communicating in slow motions, a serene dialogue between Earth and the sky above it. There are auroras that gather into a narrow band and then suddenly widen, blooming outward in a soft expansion of color. This gentle opening is caused by a shift in magnetic tension that releases all at once, allowing the light to stretch freely. The bloom resembles a flower unfurling, slow and graceful, its petals made not of matter, but of pure, drifting glow. The moment feels intimate, as though the sky has decided to let its beauty unfold just a little more, just for you. Sometimes the aurora appears as though it is braided, strands of light weaving together, then gently separating before intertwining again. This braided effect forms when particles enter the atmosphere in parallel streams, each one guided along slightly different magnetic paths. The result is a sky that seems woven by invisible hands, textured and alive. These braids shift slowly, creating patterns that feel comforting, and purposeful. They look like the cosmos expressing itself in soft craftsmanship, stitching night and color into one seamless tapestry. When solar winds arrive at unusual angles, the aurora can stretch diagonally across the sky in elegant, tilted bands. These slanted auroras feel different from the usual horizontal arcs. They carry a sense of motion, a feeling that the sky is leaning into the wind. The colors glide sideways, giving the world beneath a fresh sense of perspective. It is as though the universe is tilting its head, inviting you to see the night from a new, gentle angle. There are moments when the aurora pulses in two places at once, faint bursts appearing on opposite sides of the sky, rising and fading in a synchronized rhythm. These mirrored lights occur when the incoming particles reach separate magnetic pathways, yet follow the same cycle of energy. The effect is symmetrical and soothing, like watching two candles flicker in harmony. The sky becomes a balanced composition of light, steady, and peaceful. On the coldest nights, the aurora sometimes appears sharper, with edges so clean that each beam looks carefully carved. The cold stabilizes the air, reducing turbulence and allowing the light to hold its shape longer. These crisp auroras have a clarity that feels refreshing, like breathing in cool air after a long day. The glow seems etched into the sky, unwavering and confident. Under such perfect clarity, the world feels purified, quiet, simple, and deeply still. There are nights when the aurora appears in thin bands that fold gently over one another, creating layers of light that look like stacked feathers. These feathered auroras drift slowly, their edges soft and blurred, as if the sky has grown wings made of color. The overlapping layers come from subtle variations in altitude, where particles illuminate different parts of the atmosphere at the same time. The effect is delicate and soothing, a sky that seems to embrace itself in light. Beneath such softness, the world feels lighter, and even the coldest air seems to deepen in calm. Sometimes the aurora collects into small glowing knots, tiny concentrated pockets of green or purple that appear like glowing seeds scattered across the night. These knots form when streams of particles intersect, momentarily intensifying the light in one small area before drifting apart. They shimmer briefly, then stretch into elongated shapes, dissolving into the larger auroral flow. Watching these knots is like watching thoughts form at the edge of consciousness, brief, bright, and soon absorbed into a wider calm. The sky seems to think quietly in light. There are moments when the aurora retreats to a thin line along the northern horizon, barely visible yet steady. This low horizon aurora comes when the magnetic activity is gentle, allowing the lights to form only at the far edge of the sky. It glows like a quiet promise, a reminder that even on still nights, the earth and sun remain connected. Travelers often pause at this sight, sensing the beginning of something serene. The faint band feels like a whisper of light waiting patiently for night to deepen. Sometimes the aurora forms a soft arc directly above calm water, creating a reflection that doubles its glow. The water smooths the colors into a blurred mirror, turning the sky and earth into a single canvas of green, purple, and white. These reflections appear on lakes, fjords, and even slow-moving rivers. The mirrored lights seem to pull the sky downward, closer to the observer. In that moment, it feels as though you are standing inside the aurora, held in a gentle symmetry of color and quiet. There are auroras that ripple outward in concentric waves, expanding from a central point like rings on a pond. These waves emerge when a sudden burst of particles enters the atmosphere, creating a soft, outward-moving pulse of light. The rings maintain their shape for surprising distances, stretching across the sky in quiet perfection. Watching these widening circles feels like listening to a peaceful note that expands slowly into silence. The sky becomes a gentle echo of cosmic energy, fading softly, leaving the mind tranquil. The Sometimes the aurora drapes low and wide over open tundra, transforming the land into a world of muted magic. The glow spreads evenly, bathing rocks, ice, and snow in soft green. In this kind of widespread light, shadows become gentle and distances blur. The horizon loses its sharpness, replaced by a continuous wash of calm color. The tundra becomes a quiet stage for the sky's slow performance. Many describe these nights as dreamlike, as though reality has slipped into something softer and more forgiving. On rare occasions, the aurora takes on a swirling motion that resembles a slow, elegant spiral. This motion arises from rotating magnetic fields high above, guiding the particles into graceful loops. The spiral expands, rotates, and dissolves, creating a sensation that the sky is moving in gentle circles. This circular motion is deeply soothing, resembling the slow rotation of galaxies or the turning of a soft cosmic wheel. It's the universe showing that even its spirals can be calm, its cycles peaceful. There are auroras that drift in parallel lines, stretching across the night in evenly spaced bands. These parallel formations occur when solar particles enter the atmosphere in consistent waves, creating synchronized patterns of light. The lines move gently in unison, like soft strokes brushed across the sky. Their symmetry brings a deep sense of order and balance, as though the universe has straightened itself for a moment. Under these evenly spaced bands, the mind relaxes effortlessly, drawn into the quiet precision of the night. Sometimes the aurora forms a faint halo around the zenith, the point directly overhead. This halo glows softly, its edges fading smoothly into the surrounding darkness. It forms when particles spread uniformly through the upper atmosphere, creating a circular glow that feels both subtle and immersive. Standing beneath such a halo feels like standing inside a quiet lantern, the sky glowing gently around you. The halo does not dance, it rests, steady and reassuring. There are auroras that appear as soft patches drifting slowly from west to east. These patches brighten and dim gently, as though guided by a peaceful tide. They form when pockets of energy move through the atmosphere at different speeds, creating islands of light that wander across the sky. This slow drifting feels like the movement of clouds, but with the softness of glow instead of shadow. Watching them pass overhead invites the mind to wander with them, drifting from thought to thought until everything settles into ease. There are nights when the aurora unfurls in long, gentle ribbons that twist slightly as they drift across the sky. These ribbons appear when streams of solar particles arrive at different angles, creating soft curves in the glow. They stretch out like delicate bands of silk carried by a calm breeze. As they drift, they twist ever so slightly, giving the impression that the sky itself is turning in slow motion. These quiet spirals of light seem to echo the movements of the atmosphere around them, a reminder that even invisible winds can paint the night with softness. Sometimes the aurora brightens only in thin vertical streaks, while the rest of the sky remains dim. These streaks resemble tall beams of light rising from the horizon, glowing faintly but steadily. They form when narrow channels of particles descend along magnetic lines, illuminating only specific pathways. The effect is minimal and serene, like distant lanterns shining through mist. The vertical glow stands still against the dark, offering a sense of quiet structure in the wide openness of the Arctic night. There are moments when the aurora flickers with tiny shimmering dots spread across its surface, like sparkling dew resting on a glowing leaf. These small points of light occur when bursts of energy arrive unevenly, creating tiny flashes within the larger glow. They blink softly, appearing and disappearing in gentle rhythm. The sky seems to glitter, not with sharp points like stars, but with diffused, floating sparks. This shimmering texture adds depth to the aurora's glow, inviting the viewer to sink into its quiet complexity. Sometimes the aurora forms a wide, gentle curve that hangs above the land like a luminous smile across the night. This shape appears when the magnetic field guides particles in a long, sweeping arc. The curve glows steadily, falling toward the horizon with soft symmetry. Beneath this peaceful shape, the world feels calm and lightly held, as if the sky is expressing a silent kindness in color. It's one of the most comforting forms the aurora can take, vast, simple, and profoundly serene. There are nights when the aurora splits into two parallel bands that drift side by side without touching. These twin lights move slowly, maintaining their distance as they ripple gently across the sky. They form when two streams of particles follow separate magnetic pathways, creating distinct yet harmonious arcs. The sky looks like it has drawn twin strokes of luminescence, mirroring one another in perfect balance. Observing these side-by-side flows gives a sense of companionship in the silence, two paths glowing quietly together through the night. Sometimes the aurora sits high above the earth in a tall, elegant arc that bends gracefully across the stars. This high arc appears when the incoming particles interact with upper atmospheric layers, far above where most auroras form. The elevated glow gives the impression of immense height, as though the sky has lifted its curtains far above the world. Watching this elevated light inspires a feeling of spaciousness, opening the mind like a deep breath taken under an endless dome of calm. There are auroras that stretch diagonally from the far northern horizon up toward the zenith, creating a long, slanted ribbon of light. The diagonal flow gives the sky a sense of movement, as if the light is traveling purposefully across space. Even though the aurora moves slowly, the angled shape makes it feel dynamic yet peaceful. It pulls the eye upward in a smooth, sweeping motion, guiding thoughts gently along the same path, upward, outward, and into quiet. Sometimes the aurora spreads so evenly across the sky that it creates a soft glow from horizon to horizon, with no single bright point. This uniform illumination forms when the energy from the sun is distributed smoothly, energizing large swaths of the atmosphere at once. Instead of lines or shapes, the night becomes a gradient of greenish light, fading slowly at the edges. This wide glow feels like a luminous fog that has settled over the world, creating a peaceful, enveloping atmosphere. The night becomes less about movement and more about stillness. There are rare nights when the aurora forms a faint circular ring around the upper sky, so delicate it seems almost imaginary. This ring shape appears when particles arrive in perfect symmetry, striking the atmosphere evenly in all directions. The circle glows softly, with its edges blending into the surrounding darkness. Standing beneath this luminous ring feels like being inside a celestial embrace, gentle, balanced, and complete. It is one of the most quietly beautiful forms the aurora can take. Sometimes the aurora flickers only at its edges, creating a shimmering border that surrounds a calm interior. This edge shimmer forms when the outer layers of the aurora receive more energetic particles than the center. The glow brightens along the perimeter, forming a soft outline that trembles gently. It resembles embroidery stitched in light, intricate and delicate. Watching the edges shimmer while the center rests creates a sense of layered tranquility, movement and stillness coexisting in perfect harmony. There are nights when the aurora gathers into a shape that resembles a soft, glowing archway, a natural gateway made of light. This archway hangs quietly above the land, tall and curved, like an entrance to another, gentler world. The glow beneath the arch feels warmer, even though the air is cold. People standing under such a shape often describe a feeling of passing into deeper stillness, as if the sky is inviting them to step into a quieter part of the night. The arch remains for only a short time, but in those moments, the entire world feels like a hushed sanctuary. Sometimes the aurora forms thin, horizontal flickers that spark across the sky like delicate brush strokes of light. These quick glimmers appear when small pulses of energy arrive in waves, energizing the atmosphere for only a heartbeat before fading. The flickers are gentle, soft, and often barely visible unless your eyes are relaxed. They cross the sky in subtle motions, never loud or sharp, always understated. These quick traces feel like the sky is writing something in a language made entirely of calmness. There are auroras that glow in a smooth, unwavering band, so perfectly even that it resembles the horizon of another world suspended in the sky. This band stretches straight across the night, its edges neat and balanced. The steadiness of the glow creates a rare feeling of absolute stillness, a light that neither rushes nor fades. Under such a band, the world feels steadier, grounded by the sky's calm symmetry. It's a reminder that even the most powerful natural phenomena can choose peaceful forms. Sometimes the aurora appears in soft, pulsing waves that drift downward gently like glowing curtains, slowly lowering. These downward motions happen when energy flows along magnetic lines descending into the atmosphere. The curtain effect is hypnotic, wide sheets of light falling softly, as if the sky is tucking the world in for the night. The motion is unhurried and comforting, a visual lullaby that pulls the mind closer to sleep with each gentle descent. There are nights when the aurora seems to reach toward the stars, its faint upper edges blending seamlessly into the starlight. These delicate upper fringes glow less brightly than the rest of the aurora, but add depth to its shape. They give the sense that the aurora is climbing into the vastness of the cosmos, connecting Earth to the quiet distances above. This blending of starlight and aurora light creates a dreamlike atmosphere where sky and space merge into one continuous realm of calm. Sometimes the aurora forms a broad, glowing horizon that lights up snow-covered landscapes with a soft green tint. This glow spreads evenly across distant mountains, plains, and frozen lakes, making the world appear washed in a quiet radiance. The snow reflects the aurora upward, softening the colors even more. The result is a serene landscape that feels illuminated from within, as though the earth itself is glowing with peaceful energy. Such nights make the world feel both vast and gentle. There are auroras that gather into smooth loops, curving gracefully before folding back into themselves. These loops trace circular paths in the sky, guided by magnetic fields that bend gently above the earth. The loops do not rush or twist sharply. They flow in soft arcs, creating shapes that feel meditative and complete. Watching these looping auroras is like watching the sky draw slow, deliberate circles, motions that naturally soothe the mind into stillness. Sometimes the aurora appears brighter in the center and softer toward the edges, creating a glowing core of color that radiates outward. This central brightness forms when a dense stream of particles reaches one specific region of the atmosphere. The surrounding glow fades gradually, like light dissolving into darkness. This slow gradient makes the aurora feel warm at its heart, creating a focal point of calmness in the sky. It draws the gaze inward, encouraging quiet contemplation. There are nights when the aurora spreads faintly across clouds, turning them into softly glowing masses that drift like illuminated snow. Even when the clouds obscure the main display, the light filters through, painting the sky in muted tones. The clouds glow in gentle greens and purples, making the night feel unusually tender. It is a calmer, dreamier version of the aurora, diffused, softened, and wrapped in natural haze. These glowing clouds are often more soothing than the sharp aurora itself, blending color and texture into one slow-moving lullaby. And sometimes the aurora arrives with no warning, appearing suddenly, growing bright within seconds, and stretching across the sky with a softness that feels both surprising and deeply serene. These sudden auroras form when a surge of particles reaches the Earth quickly, igniting the upper atmosphere all at once. But even in their suddenness, they do not feel rushed. They unfold gracefully as if the sky had simply decided it was time to breathe light into the night. Moments like this remind us that beauty doesn't always approach slowly. Sometimes it appears like a soft revelation, peaceful from the very first moment it is seen. As our journey beneath the drifting glow of the northern lights comes to a gentle end, take a moment to let the quiet of this celestial world settle around you. The colors that moved across the sky tonight, the soft greens, the delicate purples, the faint traces of blue, were never just light. They were the silent memories of distant storms on the sun, traveling across emptiness, guided by Earth's own invisible shield, finally arriving here to paint the night with calm. Every aurora you imagined tonight was a reminder that the universe has its own way of breathing, slow, patient, rhythmic. It moves through cycles older than any human thought, yet it speaks in a language the heart immediately understands, the language of stillness. And in that stillness, there is comfort. The kind of comfort that doesn't need explanation, only presence. Let the memory of these drifting lights stay with you as you rest. Imagine the long ribbons of glow moving softly above frozen lakes, the quiet reflection of color on snow, the gentle spirals turning high in the Arctic sky. Imagine the world beneath them, silent forests, open tundra, dark oceans, all held under the softest canopy the earth has ever known. A night where even time seems to pause, listening to the hush of the lights. As you drift toward sleep, allow yourself to follow the rhythm of the aurora, slow, fluid, unhurried. Let your thoughts settle like snow falling on quiet ground. Let your breath soften, your mind loosen, your body sink deeper into rest. The world is quiet now, the sky is calm, and so are you. Thank you for spending this night with the Sleepy Scientist. If this peaceful journey brought you comfort or helped your mind soften for sleep, feel free to subscribe for more nights like this, more gentle explorations of the universe where science becomes serenity and knowledge becomes rest. Until we meet again under another quiet sky, may your dreams be soft, your thoughts gentle, and your sleep as deep and peaceful as the northern lights themselves. Good night.